Reviewing construction contracts doesn't require a law degree. It's fundamentally a big pattern matching exercise. If you've got the money or the project's big enough to justify getting a lawyer to do it, then that's great and you should do it. But if you're a smaller contractor strapped for cash and you're not reviewing your contracts properly, then using AI is a fantastic way to do it. Artificial intelligence is very good at repetitive pattern matching. While the actual act of negotiating a contract is much more about relationships, emotional intelligence, understanding business risk and commercial positions, the actual act of reviewing the contract and taking a 70-page document, mapping out every clause against your standard acceptable clause is the type of task that an AI model can do incredibly well. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use artificial intelligence to review a construction contract. And this isn't going to be as simple as just dumping your contract into ChatGPT and getting it to give you a contract review. And to be honest, if that's what you want to do, then that will actually work pretty well. I've found AI very good at contract reviews, but there's a few tweaks you can make to get a lot more out of it. This process is built into my estimating and contract management software Opera, which you can try for free, and the standard set of contract terms that I'll go through in this video, you can access through the software as well. So if you just take your construction contract and dump it into a ChatGPT chat and ask it to review your contract for any risky clauses, it's gonna do a super good job. The AI models are actually very good at this, and you can make it better by giving it a bit more specific information about your project. For example, you could say, I'm a construction contractor tendering as a general contractor for a multi-story apartment building. My client is giving me this contract review. I want you to analyze and prepare departures registers, flagging any risks for me. For context, the client has given me a very tight program and a building has a complex MEP system. It has a little bit more context, so it can do a slightly better, more tailored job. But at the end of the day, you didn't click on this video to work out how to write a 2-paragraph prompt. We want to talk about what are the problems with this approach and how we can tweak it slightly to get a much better outcome. So what are the problems with just uploading your contract into ChatGPT? The first one is it doesn't have specific project context. It has the contract document itself, but scope we know, or the contract scope, is going to be defined by the scope of works, the drawings, the addendums, discussions, meetings, emails, all these additional bits of information. As you increase the amount of context given to an AI model like ChatGPT or Claude, the AI becomes less reliable. This is referred to as context rot. So if you tried to take this chat and dump in here, contract plus 50 drawings, not to mention that you can only upload 10 drawings at once to ChatGPT, you're actually going to massively increase the risk of hallucinations. Second problem is as the context grows, and just with any chat, is there is issues with variability and consistency in the output. If you give this contract to ChatGPT, every time it'll give you a slightly different answer. So we don't want that. We want it to answer in a way that suits us, in a format that we find useful. And again, it doesn't understand specific risks we will accept. Some contractors are happy to accept 5% caps on liquidated damages. Some contractors are happy to accept 15 to 20. It depends on your margin and your market. So we need to understand the specific risks that we're willing to accept, specific contract terms. Again, this is also an unreliable workflow. How do we actually know if the scope of works is being checked? How do we know it even got sent to the model properly and it hasn't just hallucinated things? The other problem is just general hallucinations. In our departures register, it might note down clause 34.4 being related to the order of precedence of the contract, but that's not actually clause 34.4. The final one is we want a useful output structure. This is actually pretty good because it's a table that we could potentially base our departures register on, but it's just giving you dot points like this. Would still have to translate that into some sort of useful departures registered. So basically, we want to take this idea of just prompting a model and turn it into a system that solves these problems. So when we review a contract with AI, our goal is to generate a departures register like this, where we can be confident we've got the correct information, it's correctly identified contract terms, and it's suggested departures that we're happy with. All right, so step number one for this is all gonna be about building our context for the project. In the most succinct, efficient way, we wanna make sure AI understands the issues around this specific project. To do this, we need to give it the drawings, specifications, the scope of works, addendums, clarifications, meeting minutes, emails, and correspondence. We wanna turn it into a set of information that is going to enhance the contract review process. So we're going to be using the summarizing feature, which ours is great at. First off, we want to upload our project context and information and turn it into a structured summary. We want to do this as a separate step to reviewing the contract. So first we want to generate a structured set of requirements relevant to the project, which it can use to base the contract review off, rather than trying to combine these into one step. So the first step is we're going to run this prompt to turn the set of project information into a structured set of requirements. So the first prompt I've run, and I've set this up in a Claude project because I just find Claude Opus seems to be very, very good and much better than any of the ChatGPT models, is I've simply set up a project for this set of chats. I've uploaded the tender documents and I've asked that you're an expert construction contract manager, turn this into a structured summary to references with the key terms and conditions. Basically, it's condensing this big PDF document to this set of requirements. Now, if you had drawings and all this other information, you could upload that and go through a sequence of prompts to condense it down. You might not be able to upload all the drawings into a single prompt, but basically you just want to generate this simple critical commercial risk summary. So next up, you want to have a set of acceptable commercial positions. All contracting business should have these. If at a point in time you want to engage a lawyer or a contracts lawyer or someone who really understands construction contracts to help you generate this, I would highly recommend it. But basically, just a big set of terms which have all your standard acceptable positions. Like, do you accept 5% liquidated damages or do you accept 20%? How do you feel about notice periods? What's the minimum notice period you accept? What minimum payment terms you accept? That's just a big set of terms and conditions used. This is an example of a set of acceptable commercial terms, and this is the default set of terms and conditions that I've set up in Operum that you can adjust to review construction contracts against. Now, all I'm doing is I'm going to take these terms and I add them to the project context. The next thing you want to do is specify the output template. So I like to use an Excel departure register. So all this is, it's an example template that I want the output in, and it lists out the clause we're negotiating, our amendment, and the reasons for amendment. This is just an example. I think it's best practice to give examples to AI so you get better results, but you don't necessarily need to give an example. It'll just get a better idea of how you negotiate terms in your writing style. So then all you do is you add that example to the project files as well. Now, the first check I'll do a scope alignment check, because again, if you get the scope of works right, you solve 90% of your contract problems. The goal of this prompt is to check for any scope inconsistency. So you should upload the contract scope, so all the documents. If they're too big, you've got too many documents, then you should do that summary prompt I showed you before. You break them down first. You should upload the scope summary, the letter of offer, any tender clarifications, and also your estimate. And what you want to do is you want to review the contract scope of works against your letter of offer, your estimate and what you've included in it, any tender clarifications, and you want to make sure that there's no scope gaps within the submission. And anything that's not in your letter of offer or within your construction estimate should be excluded from the contract scope. Now, unfortunately, I was lazy. I haven't actually prepared an estimate for this project, so I can't do this check properly, but the goal of this check is to basically look for any scope that's not included in either your estimate or excluded in your letter of offer, and to ensure basically the scope that's in the contract documents aligns with what you've priced. The second prompt you should do is to look at the program and the constructability alignment. The goal here is to check whether the timeframes nominated in the contract actually make sense. So for this, you need to input the program, the scope requirements, and the contract milestones, and you want to prompt it to review the program against the scope of works to identify any unrealistic durations or sequencing, any access dependency risk. So this is where there's milestones where you're relying on the client for that aren't stated in the contract, whether the number of mobilizations make sense or any other costs you could incur from a poorly written program, basically to highlight any program risks and to check if the liquidated damages exposure is correct. Again, this feels incredibly lazy, but I haven't actually done a program for this project either, but you get the general point. It's pretty intuitive. Then this next step is to do your cash flow forecasting. So basically look at payment terms in the contract, the schedule, so the program duration and your estimate, and get it to prepare the cash flow forecast. Make sure to provide it anything like how frequently you pay labor, what your payment terms on materials are. you can actually get it to prepare a relatively good cash flow forecast so you can see whether you're going to be cash positive or cash negative. This is going to help you identify how you can change the payment schedule, how you can play with the different payment terms to get it as close to cash neutral or ideally cash positive as possible. Again, should be doing cash flow forecasts for your projects, but they're often quite confusing and hard to do. So this is just an easy way to play with the payment terms and understand what's actually driving the cash position. Next, we do the big pattern matching exercise where we upload our contract and then give it a prompt where we get it to compare our acceptable contract terms against the terms and conditions in the contract, but also to flag any terms that aren't covered by our standard terms. So it's looking at all the terms and the conditions in the contract and outputting this as a departure register. Now, the tender package for this project was only around 700 kilobytes, so I could just upload the whole file into the chat and get it to run this contract check on it. But the point I want to make is if you have some huge tender package, you need to go through and do the summarizing step before, because the more documents, the more context you upload into the chat, the less likely it is to run correctly and the more likely it is to hallucinate. And importantly, in the prompt, I've said present all the findings in a departure register using the format that I gave. Now, when it runs, you'll notice it's actually running these scripts to extract all the information from the Excel files. If you want it to run more reliably, you can do a separate step where you take your Excel file and turn it into Markdown, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're trying to remove all the additional work that AI has to do. Because the more work you do in any single prompt, in any chat window, the more context, the more tasks, the more reasoning it has to do. All you're doing is increasing the chances that it hallucinates. So what I could have done is I could have first uploaded this PDF document and get it to convert it into Markdown. I could have uploaded my Excel register and got it to convert that into Markdown as well. And it's going to require the chat to do less and less work, which is reducing the chances of hallucinations. While that chat is running, I'll show you how I then reduce the chance of hallucinations. I use a tool called Notebook LM, and all that is, it's an AI tool that Google's developed. It's actually designed for people studying, so you could upload your study documents to it, but I find it's really good for contract manager. You upload your tender documents to the tool, and any questions you ask about the tender documents, it will respond with a citation. So you know it hasn't hallucinated the answer. So if I ask it, when is the tender submission date? It responds with a citation that's loyal to the document. So what I'm going to use after having run, or when this prompt actually finishes running and it generates a departure register, I'm going to then upload my departure register to this and get it to go through and systematically check that everything in it is correct. So for example, where it says the departure is on the 23rd of April, I click on that and it actually takes me to the closing date of it, which is the 23rd of April. So it gives you reliability by knowing that the documents are being cited, and it reduces the chance of hallucinations. But when this is done, I'll then take my departure register, upload it to this, and then I'll get it to manually check all the citations are there. Sorry, not all the citations are there, that the citations are correct as per the document. Because there'd be nothing worse than submitting a contract to your client with departures against clauses that don't exist. And now it's finished running. We've got our contract departures register, which has the clauses, the references to them, the contract current position, so liquidated damages at $1,000 a day with no cap. And we're requesting we cap to 10% of the contract value. The contract position for time bars is 5 business days, and we're requesting to change it to 10 days. These are our contract positions. What we can do now is we can download this, open it up, and to check that we haven't got any extracted information incorrectly, we can copy this, upload it to Notebook LM, and we can ask it, can you please check these citations are correct? This is my contract, my proposed departures for this contract. And then I can look at the output, and it's telling me It's gone through each of the clauses in my departures register. It checks that whether it's correctly referencing the correct clause in tender documents, and it's concluded your departure table is legally and factually accurate. It references the provided tender documents. You've correctly pinpointed the specific clauses. Now, you could go through and probably should do that check yourself. I'm just showing you a quick way to double check. At the end of the day, this isn't going to be as good as getting an experienced commercial manager to go through it. It's not going to be as helpful when it comes to actually negotiating a contract. I think the use case I see of AI in these types of things is when smaller contractors don't have a budget to review their contracts properly, so they end up signing bad contracts because they're not reviewing them. If that's you, then I think this is a very quick and effective way of doing it. And if you are interested, check it out in Opera, my AI estimating contract management software. This whole workflow is built into the tool.